We finally have an announcement and release date for Amadeus on 4K from Warner Brothers. Sylvester Stallone's underrated disaster film Daylight gets a 4K release date and announcement from Kino Lorber. Arrow Video unveils their new March slate, including Deep Blue Sea on 4K. The Kill Bill movies and Jackie Brown get 4K announcements and release dates, complete with Lionsgate limited exclusive steelbooks. The 90s gem My Girl gets a 4K announcement and release date from Sony. Re-Animator gets a new 4K special edition box set announcement from Imprint Films. Imprint Films announces their new March slate, including some Hayden Christensen titles on Blu-ray. And do you feel lucky, punks, because it looks like we may be getting Dirty Harry on 4K sometime in 2025. All this and more in the next Physical Media Report. Stay tuned. Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. And today, guys, we are here for the Physical Media Report, episode 244. That is right, guys, your weekly dose of physical media goodness, where we talk about everything new and exciting in the world of 4K and Blu-ray. And look, we got some cool stuff to talk about. I've got quite a few rumors to discuss on today's episode. We've got news and announcements. We have got a lot of deals to get into as well. But what we do not have this week are new releases to talk about. I think that's the only week of this year that we got nothing, because this Tuesday is Christmas Eve and nothing is coming out this week. Now, we have releases coming out on New Year's Eve next week, but this week is empty. Nothing to talk about. So I think this is like maybe the first time ever I do not have new releases to talk about, which is a sign, guys. It's a sign physical media is dead. Okay. We're going to start that going around. No new releases this week on Christmas Eve. Physical media is dead. You know, if this would have happened like, 10 years ago, if Tuesday would have been on Christmas Eve, there would have been tons of new releases, right? But anyway, guys, let's just get into it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's start with the rumors, because this first one that we're going to bring up is a big one. It is a massive one. This is a Clint Eastwood film from the 70s. I think is it the early 70s or late 70s? I cannot remember off the top of my head, but Dirty Harry is being rumored to come to 4K in 2025. This has got to be like a film from 1975, right? Gotta be, right? But yeah, Dirty Harry coming to 4K, and it's also being rumored that it's going to be getting a 4K steelbook at some point in 2025. Now, this is a Warner Brothers title. Now, there were a couple of other Clint Eastwood titles mentioned as well, and this is coming from Dawn of the Disc on Instagram, also on Blu-ray.com. I think there's some rumors floating around for sure as well. But we also got The Outlaw Josie Wales. Warner Brothers is set to be doing in 2025, and also Pale Rider is set to come out as well. Now, I have seen The Outlaw Josie Wales. I thought that was a good movie. I watched that for Western Month a couple of years ago when I did a Western Month on the channel. Really good movie. So I would definitely be excited to see that on 4K, because when I watched it, it was on Max and the quality was not great. I don't know how it looks on Blu-ray, but the quality on streaming for Outlaw Josie Wales was not very good. So I would definitely be excited to get that on 4K. But Dirty Harry, guys, like, that's the big one. Like, this is one that people are always saying, like, why have we not got this yet? Like, it does not make sense that they have not done Dirty Harry on 4K. And yeah, Warner Brothers is set to do these three movies on 4K in 2025. They're supposed to be getting 4Ks and 4K steelbooks as well. So that's the full Warner Brothers treatment. I'm sure we'll get the 4K steelbook announcements on groove.com with the artwork. And then soon to follow, we'll get the like actual regular editions for all these movies. So yeah, do you feel lucky, punks, in 4K? I know this is an exciting one for most people, so let me know if you're excited for Dirty Harry, The Outlaw Josie Wales, and Pale Rider in the comment section below. Now, I know Dirty Harry has several sequels that I do actually have in the collection, but I have not seen them. So I wonder if they're going to do like all the sequels on 4K eventually. I would definitely be curious to know that. And they all got different titles, is why I can't remember them. It's not Dirty Harry 2 and 3 and 4. They all get different titles. I didn't even know they were Dirty Harry sequels until somebody pointed it out to me. But yeah, Dirty Harry, guys, that's a big one. Let me know if you're excited for that in the comment section below. We've also got news on the Night of the Living Dead. Now, this is not the original George A. Romero film. This is the film from 1990. Directed by Tom Savini. I have actually not seen this remake. For whatever reason, this was one that I just never checked out when I was a kid. I watched Night of the Living Dead, of course, the original, but I never watched the remake. So we got news of this getting a new physical media release. Apparently, Tom Savini at a recent convention let the cat out of the bag that Sony was working on a new remastered, new uncut version of the movie, that part of it's supposed to be in black and white. And Tom Savini basically says that we have only seen like 30% of his original vision for the film. And when Sony redoes this movie, I'm assuming it's 4K. I think somebody on Blu-ray.com assumed it will be a 4K release. And why wouldn't it be a 4K release if they're going to go through the trouble of redoing the movie? But when he talked about it at the convention, he says now we're going to see 60% of his original vision. A shame we couldn't at least see 90 or 100, but 60% is better than nothing. Yeah, this was told by Tom Savini at a recent convention. And yeah, it's going to be like a new uncut version, never before seen version of the film. Now, I imagine because it's coming from Sony, I would honestly expect like it's probably, and it's not confirmed that it's coming from Sony, but Sony is working on it. It's possible they license it to a boutique label. I don't see that happening. I see this being more of a Fright Night situation, and Sony just decides to put this out themselves. I think they're just going to do this like a steelbook. I think that's what it's going to be. It's going to be a steelbook. It may have some new features involved as well. You're going to have the new uncut version. Hopefully, you have the original version as well, and they're both in 4K. But I think it'll be some kind of like 3-disc steelbook set. Hopefully they do a slipcover option as well, a regular standard edition option as well, but that's not really what Sony does at this point. They give us the steelbook or they give us the standard, whichever one they decide, and that's what we get. Fright Night never got a standard 4K. It only got a steelbook 4K release from Sony, and that's still the only 4K edition of Fright Night that we have. So I can see the same thing probably happening for Night of the Living Dead, the remake from 1990. But the good news is that this is a great poster, and I think it will look pretty damn good on a 4K steelbook for sure. So let me know if you're excited for that. I'm definitely excited for it because I've heard some divisive things about the movie, but I feel like overall people usually talk about the Night of the Living Dead remake with a little bit of reverence to it, and they say it's kind of misunderstood. And Tom Savini, like, it was notably like a very troubled production. Like he was just getting into directing at that point. Of course, Tom Savini's like a master of makeup effects and stuff, but he was just getting into directing at that point. Didn't really entirely know what he was doing and wasn't getting a lot of help either. So let me know if you're excited for the Night of the Living Dead remake, uncut, re-edited version of the film on 4K. Now, it doesn't say, because I think Don the Dish shared this on Instagram. He did not note that it was going to be a 4K, but when I looked it up on Blu-ray.com, there were several people that had confirmation. I think somebody reached out to somebody involved with the movie, and they got confirmation that it was going to be a 4K release. So I'm assuming, guys, I'm just going to go ahead and say it right here. Night of the Living Dead remake is going to be a 4K release, and it's likely, I think, going to be a steelbook release from Sony. I think this is the message right there. I actually had this pulled and ready, but I didn't bring it out. So yeah, let me know if you're excited for the Night of the Living Dead remake on 4K in the comments section below. And next up, guys, we have got some early leaked Scream Factory rumors. Now, by the time this comes out, because I filmed this on Sunday, and I'm assuming that Scream Factory is going to announce their stuff tomorrow, the day before Christmas Eve. But Night of the Creeps, we've been talking about this one for a while, and apparently this is going to be coming as a part of their March slate. And yeah, Night of the Creeps on 4K is what we're going to be getting. And I think this movie takes place like on prom night, right? Isn't that what the setup of the movie? I have seen the movie, but it's been a couple of years since I watched it. Of course, it's got the guy from Halloween 3. Why can I not remember his name? Why can I not remember? He's a freaking icon. I can never remember people's names when I'm on here talking. But the guy from Halloween 3, I'll remember his name at some point. I keep wanting to say Tom Selleck, but it's not Tom Selleck. But Night of the Creeps is coming to 4K, guys, in March. And yeah, I think this fits the vibe, the time period this movie takes place in, around prom time. Now, maybe April would have been a better month to release it in, but March is a good month for Night of the Creeps for sure. I think the movie will look great on 4K as well. So let me know if you're excited for that. Again, it's not officially announced, but we do have like an artwork right here of it. So, that's cool. Bring It On is also set to come to 4K in the month of March. This is going to be a Shout Select title. And you know what? Why not do all the Bring It On movies and do a box set? You might as well. I don't know how I feel about this, guys. Now, I did watch the Bring It On Blu-ray. I think a couple of years ago. I watched it with my wife. I bought it for like $5 or $6 off of Groove, I believe. And the Blu-ray is very flat. It is a very flat Blu-ray. It's not a great Blu-ray. There are some really nice colors in the movie with some of those cheer like sequences and the uniforms and all that stuff. So I think it has the potential to look really great on 4K. I just don't know, like personally, if I have a need to get Bring It On and add it to the collection on 4K, because I'm assuming this is going to come out. It's going to be like $32, $33. Do I want to spend that much to get Bring It On 4K? I don't know, but I have been on here, clamoring to get more comedies. I mean, Bring It On is technically a teen comedy, so maybe I should put my money where my mouth is and support this when it comes out, because I do like Bring It On. I think it's a good, it came out when I was like 14, so I was very much like in that teen movie world at that time. So I remember, the movie fondly. I just watched it recently. I enjoy it. There's some cheesy things about it, but I think it's a good movie. But yeah, are you excited for Bring It On 4K from Shout Select? Those are the two kind of, again, these are rumors, but they're kind of confirmed because we got the actual artwork here. Now, here's some other interesting stuff that Don the Disc shared. And he shared Ghost Ship. Now, he did not make it clear if this is going to be a Screen Factory release, but I'm assuming it's going to be a Screen Factory release because they did the Blu-ray. So why wouldn't they, keep that in their catalog and upgrade it to 4K? Who else would be doing it on 4K? Is what I'm asking. If not Screen Factory, who else would be doing it on 4K? So I'm assuming this is going to come from Screen Factory, probably in the March slate as well. Ghost Ship is an okay movie. Of course, like everybody remembers the movie for like the great beginning, but after that, the movie is kind of a snooze fest. Like I saw it in the theaters. I remember seeing all these movies in the theaters, like 13 Ghosts, and you got Ghost Ship. Like all these movies came out like the early 2000s. I was like a sophomore, junior in high school. I remember driving to the theaters to go see these movies back in the day, and they were okay. Like I liked 13 Ghosts. Like that was a good movie, but Ghost Ship I remember just having a great beginning and just not a lot going on after. I do have the Blu-ray edition back there from Screen Factory, so I don't know if this is one that I will upgrade to 4K, but I can see that beginning sequence probably looking incredible on 4K. So let me know if you're excited for that. These are the ones that I am like truly like excited about. Let's talk about Problem Child and Problem Child 2 were both rumored to be coming to 4K. Now, again, Don the Disc shared these on his Instagram page. Did not note, who these were coming from, but these are both Universal titles, Problem Child 1 and 2. So I would assume, I don't think that Universal would be doing these. They would definitely be licensing these out, I think. So the fact that he's mentioning these kind of in the same, in the same kind of post line, like these came like right after he announced Bring It On and Night of the Creeps. I'm assuming these are probably going to be Shout Select, Shout Factory, or Shout Studios titles as well. That just makes sense to me. Like they feel like they fit within that line. Now, if Arrow Video did like a double box set of the Problem Child films, I wouldn't complain. Like I would love that if they did that. But I'm assuming these are going to be Shout Select releases. Are they going to be a bundled together, like in a 2-pack? I would probably assume so. I don't think they would attempt to sell them both separately, but again, I could be wrong. But I love Problem Child 1 and 2. Like, talk about movies that I just wore out the VHS tapes for when I was a kid. These movies came out at the perfect age for me. I think it was the early 90s. So I was like 6 or 7. I was the age of junior when these movies came out. And I always just love these movies. Like this was back in the good old days where they made like kids movies that like had an edge to them and were pretty dark. And that's what the Problem Child movies were. So if you haven't seen the Problem Child movies, they got John Ritter in them, RIP John Ritter. Like he was always great in these kind of movies back in the day. But I just love these films. The first one's got Michael Richards in it. It's got Kramer, and it's really fun. But I think the true like gem of the Problem Child franchise is the second one, like him and the girl in it as well. I love Problem Child 2. And the thing about Problem Child 2, I do not believe, I could be wrong. I don't think Problem Child 2 has a Blu-ray. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong or message me on Instagram. People like to message me on Instagram when I'm wrong, or they just tell me, what's up, because I do ask questions on here sometimes. But I don't think Problem Child 2 has a Blu-ray, or at least like Mill Creek put out the first one. It did like a retro VHS slipcover of that a couple of years ago. They never did the second one. And then they did a DVD double pack release a couple of years, Mill Creek did. So I don't think that Problem Child 2 has a Blu-ray. So this could be the first time for Blu-ray and 4K for Problem Child 2, whereas the first one had a Blu-ray from Universal and Mill Creek. So again, could be wrong. I think Problem Child 2, it might have a Blu-ray, but I think this might be the first time. But it's both first time to 4K. I would 100% get both of these. I think they would both look great on 4K. Like I'm thinking of the scene where they walk into Junior's room or his new room and they redo it with clowns and stuff. Like I can see that looking fantastic in 4K. The carnival sequence in the second one would look freaking amazing in 4K. All the puke in 4K. Can you imagine that? Oh my god. I love these movies so much though, and I would just be over the moon if they got like a 4K release. So hopefully we get that announcement soon from Shout Studios or whoever puts it out. Maybe Vinegar Syndrome's gonna put them out like a VSU edition. That would be great too. But I'm definitely excited for Problem Child 1 and 2 to come to 4K. Now, that is the rumors, guys. Let's get into the actual news and announcements. And the first one that we're going to talk about is Amadeus. And we've been talking about Amadeus. Like, I think I brought Amadeus up on like maybe episode 70 of the Physical Media Report back in the day. Like, it was a while ago that I talked about Amadeus on 4K. So I'm definitely excited about this. I do love Tom Atkins, guys. I just looked up his name because I had to know what his name was. Tom Atkins is in Night of the Creeps. There you go. But Amadeus is a fantastic movie, guys. It won Best Picture in 1984. 1984 is one of the greatest years in cinematic history. Like that year is so fantastic. And it's full of so many great movies, but I do think that Amadeus did deserve Best Picture because it is the best movie that came out that year. I feel like pound for pound, like the best film that came out that year. But this movie is directed by Milos Forman, who also did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, who also did the Jim Carrey movie, Man on the Moon, the Andy Kaufman biopic. So he's a great director. This is a great film. This is a movie that everybody's going to look at. If you haven't seen Amadeus, you'll be like, oh my God, period piece, Mozart, that's boring. But the movie has like so much like life and energy to it. It is really not a boring movie. Like it's a really hilarious comedy in some parts. It's almost like certain aspects of it are almost like parody like. But it is also a biopic. It's telling the story of Mozart and Solidarity. Is that his name? Solidarity? I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Like their rivalry together. But it's such a great movie. It has so much energy, so much life to it. Like visually, it's so stunning and beautiful. I love Mozart. I love Amadeus. I've loved it for probably like the past 10 years. Like I rewatched it because I watched that movie in music class when I was in high school. And I remember being boring back when I watched it when I was a kid. But like rewatching it as an adult, like I just got way more into the film because I guess I was actually paying attention to it now. And it is such a great movie. Like I think Amadeus is a true masterpiece, but that is coming out from Warner Brothers. Now, interesting thing about this, we'll get into in a second. Warner Brothers, February the 25th. That is the release date for Amadeus. It is a native 4K with HDR. We only have the theatrical cut, and the Blu-ray that I have back there is the director's cut. That is the only cut that they have on Blu-ray. So it's interesting that they're now. I don't know if the theatrical cut was released on DVD or Blu-ray because I didn't own it back before that Blu-ray release I have back there. But that's the director's cut. This is a theatrical cut that's getting a 4K release. And I do not think, because they're not promoting it, I don't think we're getting the director's cut on 4K, at least not right now. Maybe they'll decide to do it sometime in the future. So definitely, like if you have that Blu-ray of the director's cut, you may want to hold on to that one because that's going to be the only way you can watch the director's cut because we're getting the theatrical cut on 4K. Now, I love the director's cut because that's the last time I watched it. And the movie to me like moves. Like it's 3 hours long with the director's cut, but it moves. But this is like 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours and 40 minutes. I'm sure it's going to have a great pace to it as well. And a lot of people say they prefer the theatrical cut because it does have a better pace to it. So I'm wondering if people like maybe complained about the director's cut back in the day and they wanted the theatrical cut and they just kind of noticed that more people were gravitating towards the theatrical cut. So that's the reason why they did it. I don't know, but that's the cut that they're doing. Maybe they could only find like the negative for the theatrical cut and the director's cut. They would have had to done like some additional work or did some interpositive stuff or something like that. So maybe that's why they did like the theatrical cut. I don't exactly know. I know there's going to be people that complain about it. I don't know why they couldn't do both. Like if you're going to do Amadeus, just do Amadeus, do the theatrical cut, do the director's cut, make everybody happy and put this release out, give it the definitive release it deserves. But we're also getting a UK box set release of this movie as well. So it's going to be a nice box set with the steelbook inside. And the steelbook does look great. So I don't know if we're getting a US Steelbook. As of right now, I haven't seen anything on Groove or any pre-orders up. And usually the Steelbooks for Warner Bros., like I said earlier, they go up first. And then we get all the other information about the additional releases. So I don't think we're going to get a US Steelbook release, but if you want this UK Steelbook box set, you can get that. So yeah, let me know if you're excited for Amadeus. Let me know if you're upset about the lack of the director's cut in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and talk about Constantine. So we've been talking about Constantine for the past few weeks on the channel. This is going to be coming to 4K from Warner Brothers on February the 18th. We have an actual release date. This is a native 4K with HDR and a new feature. There's going to be a new special feature. I am loving this trend of studios doing new features. I'm going to be reviewing something pretty soon. It's a studio title, and it's another one that added a couple of new special features. So I think we're seeing this more and more as the studios recognize that we are in a collector's, kind of boutique market now. And that's what people want. They want cool editions. They want new special features. Like that's what the people want. That's what's informing a lot of their purchasing decisions. And we've got a brand new feature on here called 2 Decades of Damnation. So I imagine this is kind of a retrospective on the history of the film. And there is also a Steelbook release of this, guys. Now, when I showed the Steelbook a couple of weeks ago, it really had no artwork on the cover. We all looked at it and we were like, this has to be like a working like cover right here. There's no way this is the actual cover. And the same interior right here, but this is the actual artwork of the Constantine Steelbook. So I don't know why they even bothered to show that on groove.com. They should have just waited till they had the actual artwork. Or maybe that was the artwork. And then people that just like the backlash for that was like so extreme. They were just like, all right, we got to put artwork on this. So I don't know. I don't know why they show it and then change it, but this is cool artwork. It really is cool artwork for sure. It's a little cartoonish, a little comic booky. They got the DC logo up there. So obviously they're really trying to brand this as a DC film, which maybe it said that in like the title screen back in the day or the credits in the beginning, but I don't remember like it being promoted as like a DC film because nobody really cared about comic book movies as much back in 2005, at least not to the level that they do now. So they're really promoting it with the DC logo on the front. And it's a nice steelbook. It is a very nice steelbook, and it's a nice slipcover as well. I like the artwork on the slipcover. So yeah, I saw Constantine back in the theaters, 2005, and I remember it being extremely boring. I just wasn't a huge fan, but I'm excited to rewatch it. Maybe I enjoy it now. A lot of people are excited for it. A lot of people do like it, so I'm gonna watch it with a fresh pair of eyes. Now let's talk about My Girl. This got announced from Sony to come to 4K this week, and it's coming out February the 25th. It's going to be a native 4K with Dolby Vision and HDR. So yeah, My Girl. I have seen My Girl. It has been a while since I've seen My Girl. Now I think I want to say Mill Creek did a double pack of My Girl 1 and 2 a few years ago. My Girl it's a good movie, but it is a very sad movie. Like the ending to this. So there's been a tons of memes of My Girl, I feel like, over the past few years with the bees and Macaulay Culkin and all that stuff. But I just remember like I liked the movie when I was a kid, but it takes such a like dark turn in the last 20 to 25 minutes. Like I always hated that part of the movie because it was like, oh my God, this is just too much for me to handle as like a 6 or 7-year-old kid. So like I always liked the movie, but I never liked watching the stuff at the end, especially because I was such a big fan of Home Alone because of what happens to Macaulay Culkin in that film. It's very hard to watch. And like the tone of the film is just very lighthearted, very fun, like the entire way. It takes such a dark turn. Like it's unbelievable what that movie does. So it's not a movie that I like want to go back and rewatch too often. But I will probably get this release because I think it is a movie that will benefit from that 4K upgrade. And Sony always does a great job with their 4Ks. I know it is a very beloved film from the 90s as well that a lot of people enjoy. So let me know if you're excited for My Girl coming to 4K from Sony. And this is coming out on February the 25th. So a lot of stuff coming out February the 25th, guys. I have noticed that. All right, Sonic 3. This came out in the theaters, I think, this weekend. This is coming out from Paramount. There is a 4K and a 4K Steelbook up for pre-order. There's no image of the 4K Steelbook, but there is a pre-order for the 4K Steelbook. It is up for pre-order right now, but there is no standard Blu-ray. Guys, I just did a video about the Transformers 1, and it appears like the trend going forward for Paramount is a 4K, a 4K Steelbook, a DVD. Now, I imagine there'll be some kind of 4K triple pack of all three of the Sonic films as well. I'm sure that'll be announced at some point. But there is no Blu-ray. There is no standalone standard Blu-ray release for Sonic 3. And it looks like for the majority of the Paramount like new movie titles that come out, they're not going to have a Blu-ray. They are cutting out the Blu-ray because they do not see the value in that anymore. They see the main audience now is the premium 4K collectors, and it's the regular DVD collectors. And I guess they just don't think there's a lot of in between people that want that Blu-ray. Now they are, and I did point this out in my video, but people failed to like recognize that I pointed this out in the video. I know they do a Blu-ray with the 4K. I get that and I understand that. There is still a Blu-ray. They're not cutting out the Blu-ray completely, but they're making you buy the 4K. And some people do not want to buy the 4K. They would be just happy with the Blu-ray. And yes, the 4K may be $25. That's a good price for a 4K for sure, especially when you get the Blu-ray with it. But the Blu-ray by itself could be $20. And for some people, picking up a new physical media release is the difference of $5 sometimes. That is the difference. Like between the average consumer, they go to the store, they see a 4K on the shelf for $25. I'll pass on this. It's a little too much. Or they see the Blu-ray for $20. Okay, I'll go ahead and get this and add to the collection because maybe they're not into 4K. They just like collecting Blu-ray. So at the end of the day, like I don't think it's great to cut out options. So that was my whole point with the video that I did the other day. And I do think it's kind of significant to cut out an entire like format of your physical media releases, like to cut out an entire format. They're really the only studio at this point that's doing that. If a new Sony movie comes out, it gets a Blu-ray. New Warner Bros. Comes out, it gets a Blu-ray. Even Disney is still doing Blu-rays. Now they're doing 4Ks like just with steelbooks in some cases with their Pixar films, but they're still doing Blu-rays. Like every other studio is still doing Blu-rays. Paramount's the only one that is cutting it out. I don't know if this has anything to do. I don't even know the status of Paramount right now, like who owns them, but I know that they were bought out and they were having some tough times and stuff. So I guess it has something to do with that. I expect a lot of changes with Paramount over the next year or so. But they used to be kind of the gold standard when it comes to studios, at least in my opinion, when it comes to putting stuff out, giving people options and things like that. And it's kind of sad to see them be diminished a little bit. So we are just getting the 4K of Sonic 3 and the 4K Steelbook of Sonic 3. And no release date yet, but that is up for pre-order on Amazon. Guys, I will link all this stuff down below in the description if you want to check this out. If any of this stuff has links, I will link it down below, Amazon links. So if you want to use those links, I would appreciate it. They're Amazon affiliate links, and they do help support the channel. All right, let's talk about Daylight. I am so excited for Daylight. It's not even funny. This is coming out on 4K from Kino Lorber, March the 11th. It's going to be a native 4K with Dolby Vision and HDR. The only thing I'm disappointed in, and I love the original poster. I just think this is one of the greatest posters of the 90s. So I'm completely fine with that being the cover of the 4K. I think it looks great. My only issue is with this particular release is that there's nothing like in terms of new special features. They added nothing to this. And I don't think they did with Dante's Peak either. But there's no new audio commentaries. There's nothing new in terms of special features. And I would have definitely liked to see some new stuff, some new features or something like that. That's the only drawback sometimes with Kino Lorber and hearing they're going to announce stuff is I know it's not going to get a ton of features, even though I've been watching a lot of Kino Lorbers recently. And I've got a video coming out about that pretty soon, just talking about a lot of my recent Kino Lorber watches. And they did a surprising amount of new special features for some of their titles in 2024. So I do think that they're starting a new trend with some of their releases. They're putting more special features on their stuff than they have in the past, but they always at least do an audio commentary with some of these movies, guys. So with this, it's just bare bones, nothing. I think even Kindergarten Cop got 2 audio commentaries. So it is kind of disappointing. I think there's like a past making of that they got in here as well, but it's disappointing we don't have something new for Daylight. Like that's something I would want something new for sure. Now, and again, did I tell you all the release date for that? I thought I did. This comes out on March the 11th, guys. But I'm still very excited for this release. I love this movie. I think it's one of the most underrated disaster films of the 90s. I rewatched it like a couple of years ago for the first time in years, and I was shocked like how well that movie holds up. Like I think it has such like emotional like stakes and weight to it. I think Sylvester Stallone is actually really great in the movie. I think it's a great performance. I think everybody in the movie is fantastic. And I just truly think it's an underrated disaster film. Like you go back and watch like Independence Day, Twister, Dante's Peak, there's some cheesier aspects. Daylight's like, it's actually just really good. And I think Daylight like really holds up like almost like better than any of the other disaster films from that time period. So I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but I just think Daylight is a damn good movie. And if you haven't seen it, like I would highly recommend you get that 4K. All right, let's get into the Kill Bills, Jackie Brown stuff. So I did a live stream the other night, and I brought this stuff in the live stream. But in case you didn't watch the live stream, we got Kill Bill Volume 1 coming to 4K from Lionsgate January the 21st. It's going to have HDR. No Dolby Vision is being announced right now for it. It's just HDR. There's also a Lionsgate Limited exclusive Steelbook. So these Steelbooks are only available on the Lionsgate Limited website, which I talked about on my stream the other night. I talked about it in a few videos as well. You can only get this on the Lionsgate Limited website. I will link that down below. The Steelbooks are currently going for $39.99, so it is a very premium edition and very premium price point. Now, I will say that the regular slip editions, and I'm hoping these have slips. They're showing them without slips as of right now, but these regular 4K editions, they were up for pre-order for $42.99. They have gone down in price to $27.99 on Amazon right now currently, and I think that's going to be the price point for these releases. I will link all that stuff down below, guys. I will link these new Kill Bill and Jackie Brown editions, and I will also link the Steelbooks from the Lionsgate Limited website as well. We also got Kill Bill Volume 2 coming out on January the 21st. What a month. Like, January is going to be a freaking killer month. Kill Bill Volume 2 getting a standard 4K that is up for pre-order on Amazon right now currently. January the 21st, going to have HDR as well. And we got this exclusive Lionsgate Limited Steelbook. We've also got Jackie Brown getting a regular 4K edition on January the 21st, the same day with HDR. And it also has a Lionsgate Limited Steelbook. Now, I will admit with Jackie Brown, I don't hate the Steelbook. I really don't. A lot of people are hating on the Steelbook. I love the interior artwork right there. I think it's great. But the regular edition is better. I think Pam does look better on the regular 4K edition than she does on this edition, but I kind of like the cartoony artwork to it. I don't think it's terrible. Like, I definitely like this artwork a little bit better, but I don't think that the Steelbook artwork is that bad. And then we got the, and all the Steelbooks are $39.99, except for this Reservoir Dogs new Mr. Pink Edition Steelbook, which I'm wondering if they're going to do like all the colors in Steelbook form. Like, if this sells well, like, they might try to do all of them just to kind of appease collectors, people that may want to collect all of them. Because they did that with the DVDs back in the day, guys. I talked about that in my recent Quentin Tarantino video. But Reservoir Dogs is getting another 4K Steelbook release. This is $29.99 on their website, so it's a little bit cheaper. And this also comes out on January the 21st as well. And guys, I did an entire video on this set also last week. This Re-Animator 4K box set release from Imprint Films is coming out. This is set for a release date of April the 3rd. There's going to be a lot of new special features here for the 40th anniversary. And it also has multiple editions. You got this bobblehead like special edition set right here for $129.99. There's also a regular 4K box set for $79.99. There is a 4K for $49.99, just regular slipcover 4K. And there's a regular slipcover Blu-ray for $39.99. So you can get all of these on the Imprint Films website. I will link that down below. Now, you can only get this on that website right now currently. I don't know if it'll stay exclusive to that website. I imagine at some point the regular standard 4K and the regular like standard Blu-ray will be available on Amazon. But as of right now, all these editions and the box set itself, guys, is only available on the Imprint Films website. So definitely go check that out if you're interested, because I can see that being a set that sells out sooner rather than later. Now, personally, I'm still on the fence. I'm just going to wait it out and see what happens with it. But, you know, if you're interested in Re-Animator, a lot of people love Re-Animator, you may want to jump on that now. That is a first time to 4K release too, by the way. Interesting thing I noticed today when I was looking is We Live in Time, which is an A24 edition, is on Amazon to pre-order for $26.16. This is a Blu-ray. And it looks like, guys, what it looks like to me is that A24 is shifting away from Lionsgate as their means of distributing their films on Blu-ray. And it looks like they're really trying to push to do their own like releases. And I think that we're going to be seeing more of this in 2025. But this Blu-ray release, like we just seen the A24 stuffs pop up in Barnes & Noble and Walmart. So I think they're going to be doing a lot more of their Blu-ray releases, like available by other, retailers and websites and stuff in 2025. Now, I think that the 4Ks are still going to be exclusive to their website. So if you want, which makes things very confusing, guys, it really does. Because I bought Marshall the Shell with seashells on recently at Walmart on Blu-ray. I thought that's all there was. And then I get on the A24 website, there's a 4K. So apparently 4Ks are going to be exclusive to the website, and then they're going to put Blu-rays out in Walmart and Barnes & Noble and apparently on Amazon now as well. So I thought that was interesting how these once exclusive to their website editions are starting to pop up on Amazon, also in Walmart and Barnes & Noble as well. So, and I know a lot of people, have been disappointed though by the lack of like actual like Lionsgate Blu-ray releases, because like they were usually pretty cheap. Like you could get a new A24 movie for like $17.99. In some cases, like I remember back in the day getting them for $14.99, $13.99 at Target. Like I would put a discount on it as well, because I would always do a discount for the new Lionsgate stuff. So it is disappointing that these A24 titles are moving to more like premium editions, in case you just wanted to get like a regular edition of the movie. But that is the way of the future, guys. This is a collector's hobby now. It's a collector's market. Everything's moving more boutique, and A24 is definitely trying to do their own thing as well and become like their own version of the Criterion Collection. I feel like is what they're doing. So I just wanted to kind of note that, and I will also link that down below because I believe that comes out at some point in January. We also got the Arrow video announcements last Friday. I did an entire video on it, but we got Deep Blue Sea, guys, coming to 4K from Arrow Video. Very exciting. I think Deep Blue Sea like has the potential to look really awesome on 4K. And this is a really cool edition with some great artwork on it for sure. But this comes out March the 18th. There is also a Blu-ray box set version of it as well. And yeah, very excited for Deep Blue Sea. I think this is a movie that definitely needed this treatment. So I'm excited that Arrow Video was the ones to do it. We've also got Play It Cool getting a regular Blu-ray release on March the 4th. And we got Lucio Fulci's Don't Torture a Duckling. This is coming out on 4K on March the 25th. And then we got Dressed to Kill, which is getting a UK-only 4K release on March the 3rd. And we got The Terminal Man getting a UK-only Blu-ray release on March the 10th. So that is the Arrow Video slate for the month of March. We also got the March Imprint Films releases announcements. And we've got Man Bites Dog. We've got Savior. That's a Dennis Quaid film. We have got Shattered Glass. And I think that Shattered Glass and Savior are worldwide first Blu-ray releases. I always like how Imprint like puts that next to them when they announce stuff. Just letting people know like, hey, we're the first ones to put this out on Blu-ray. You better appreciate it, damn it. But Shattered Glass, that's a movie with Hayden Christensen that came out like, I think the year after Attack of the Clones. So that was like the first movie that came out. I remember watching it back in the day and thinking it was pretty good, where it kind of portrayed, basically kind of let people know that, hey, Hayden Christensen, like he can actually act a little bit. Like he's not as terrible as you would think from the Star Wars movies. So that's what I remember that movie like really doing for him. And his career back in the day is just letting people know that, hey, this guy's more than just like, dopey dialogue from the George Lucas Star Wars prequels. So yeah, Shattered Glass is one that I'm thinking about maybe getting, because I think that was a pretty good movie back in the day. Then we also got In the Bedroom. That is a worldwide first release on Blu-ray as well. And then we've got The Weight of the Water. That's a movie with Sean Penn, Elizabeth Hurley. Never seen that, but it looks pretty interesting. And then we got Factory Girl also coming out on Blu-ray. All Blu-ray releases from Imprint Films in March. And Imprint continues to do some impressive work. They're really doing some cool stuff that I'm definitely interested in month to month. I don't collect a ton for Imprint, but there are stuff there is stuff that catches my eye that I may circle back to at some point. And next up, guys, we've got Scanners coming to 4K for the first time. Yes, this has a Criterion, but it was never put out on 4K from the Criterion Collection, at least not yet. I could see it happening though soon, since this got a 4K announcement. But this is a 4K Blu-ray trilogy set. I think the first one is in 4K, and the two sequels, which I just bought the two sequels actually from Screen Factor recently. But the two sequels are going to be Blu-ray, I believe, and the first one is going to be 4K. This is coming out from Playon Pictures in Germany. So this is a German release, and this is coming out on March the 26th. So really awesome artwork on this, though. Like, I love the cover. Like, look, I watched Scanners, I think, for the first time like 5 or 6 years ago, the Criterion edition. I liked the movie. I didn't love it, but that scene, like right there on the cover in the beginning, like that to me is where the film peaks. Like that's the problem with it. Nothing else ever matches that opening scene of Scanners. So that is a great cover right there. There's also like an alternate cover as well that shows a more iconic part of the movie with Michael Ironside in it. So very, very cool though. I think these are both cool additions. We also got some more Cronenberg coming from Playon Pictures. We got The Brood getting a 4K release as well, which is pretty cool. This comes out on March the 26th. And like I said, Playon Pictures is a German release. You can probably pre-order these on Diabolic or Orbit right now, or you can just go to their website and order it directly. We also got a announcement of the Prophecy. This is not to be confused with the Christopher Walken prophecies. This is another prophecy, a monster movie. This is getting a 4K release from Kino Lorber, and it's coming soon. It's going to have Dolby Vision and HDR. So no official like announcement release date, but we do have this coming from Kino Lorber. They announced it on their X account early this morning. I also wanted to talk about Looking for Mr. Goodbar, which was a recent release from Vinegar Syndrome. There are playback issues on this release at the 2-hour mark, and Vinegar Syndrome has issued a replacement program. So if you bought this release and you haven't watched it yet, just know that Vinegar Syndrome knows there's a problem, and how Vinegar Syndrome handles their release, their disc replacement programs. You don't really have to do anything. Okay. Other companies, like, they'll make you send in proof of purchase and all that kind of stuff. Vinegar Syndrome, as long as you bought it from their website, and I think that's the only way you could have bought it at this time, they're just going to automatically send you that replacement disc. So you don't have to do anything if you bought it from the Vinegar Syndrome website. The replacement disc, when they get it fixed and corrected, will be on its way to you and you will get it. I just wanted to give you a heads up that that is occurring. So maybe wait to watch it until you get that replacement disc in. Now, I will note that some people said they did not have an issue, that this was only with like certain players and things like that. But Vinegar Syndrome is just so good. When they hear there's an issue, like, they're going to fix it. They're going to put out a statement and they're going to replace it and not require you to do a damn thing. And that is a great thing about Vinegar Syndrome and how they do stuff with their disc replacement programs and all that. So yeah, just want to let you guys know that if you did purchase it and you were not aware yet. All right, so let's get into the deals, guys. We've got some deals on Blu-ray.com. Let me bring this up. Or not Blu-ray.com, but Amazon. But I got to get on Blu-ray.com to look at them. So I just pulled up like cheapest 4Ks right now, just to kind of run through some of these deals. Two Guns is $10.99. Green Book is $10.99 on 4K. Juice right now on 4K is $11.99. So you got some good deals running. Barbie on 4K is still $12.99. Migration, $12.99. Blue Beetle, $12.99. Babylon 5, $12.99. The Flash is $12.99. The Color Purple is $12.99. So there's a lot of like Black Friday sales still available on Amazon. School Days, Spike Lee film is $13.49. You got Saw X on 4K for $14.49. Transformers Rise of the Beast on 4K for $13.99. Beauty and the Beast on 4K is currently $14.99. Bride of Frankenstein, $14.94. Shrek the Third is $14.94 on 4K. Shrek Forever After is $14.99 on 4K. Killer's Kiss, Stanley Kubrick movie, is $14.99. Passengers is $15.19 on 4K. Wonka is $15.15 on 4K. Coming to America is $15.98 on 4K. The Mask of Zorro is $15.19 on 4K. Bad Boys for Life is $15.19 on 4K. 1776 is $15.19 on 4K. So you got a lot of good stuff, guys. I'll just kind of scroll through. So I Married an Axe Murderer. That was a good release, $17.59. Footloose is $18.49. So then it just kind of goes to more regular prices here. I wouldn't really consider a lot of these deals. There is a lot of Kino Lorbers on here for $19.99. So I don't know exactly like who's having a sale. Somebody told me, I forget who it was, because I did a video about this recently about a Kino Lorber title on sale. But somebody said that somebody was having some kind of a sale on some of their Kino Lorber titles. But like $19.99 on Amazon for a lot of these Kino Lorbers is a pretty good deal. It's not as good as the Kino Lorbers running on some of their 4Ks on their website, but it's better than these are usually. Like Turbulence, Blown Away, Narrow Margin, which I'll be talking about all those pretty soon on the channel. Crybaby is $19.99. That's a great price for Crybaby because that thing is loaded with features. Staying Alive, The Last Castle, We Were Soldiers 2029, Galaxy Quest 2029. Those are both new 4K titles. So there's some good stuff going on deal-wise on Amazon. I will link as much as I can down below in the description. And then we've also got the Kino Lorber sale still going on until today, actually. You know what? As I put this up, I think it might end on noon today. So maybe I shouldn't even be covering this at all. But in case this is running till midnight, I'll still link it down below and you can check it out for yourself. But they extended it a week, like it was supposed to end last week, and they extended it another week. So yeah, the Kino Lorber sale, they still got a lot of 4Ks, they still got a lot of Blu-rays on sale right now currently. Now let's go ahead and jump on groove.com. And we always got some pretty good deals going on groove.com. There's 2 Blu-rays for $16. There's a 3 for $35 deal. I think I covered all these deals before, guys, but like 3 4Ks for $35, like you really can't beat that, especially when some of them are pretty new 4Ks or pretty good 4Ks, honestly. for what would essentially be like what, $11.70 a piece or something like that. That is good prices for all those releases. And I'm trying to look up here, see if they have any other sales. There's a 3 for $21 DVD sale, and then you got some deals on 4K collections right here as well, which are pretty good. So yeah, Groove is really keeping the deals alive, because like they put their stuff on sale and then Amazon price matches it. So they're kind of taking that spot of Best Buy here recently, which I definitely appreciate for sure. Now let's back out of that and get into, this is not really a new release. I said there was no new releases this week. This was delayed till the 20th, but The Searchers was delayed to the 20th. So it did not come out on the 17th, got delayed to the 20th, but that's really all I have to talk about. Now I will say I did pre-order The Searchers, and the 20th has already passed. It still has not shipped. And I have heard rumors that it was delayed until January. So we could be getting some kind of like shifting release date for The Searchers, because I did pre-order this on Amazon and I do not have a ship date as of yet, but that did move to the 20th. So I wanted to talk about it kind of in the place of the new release announcements, because like I said, there's nothing new this week, guys. You can relax. You can let your wallet take a rest, enjoy all the stuff that we've gotten all year long. Now, there is one more release week in the year, but it's a pretty light week next week. But thank you all so much for watching the Physical Media Report, episode 244. And guys, we at Mid-Level Media want to wish you a Merry Christmas, because it is Christmas Eve tomorrow. It is Christmas Day. And I hope everybody just has a great holiday. You know, it's the time of year we all get together, and we share and we care and we love, and our hearts are full. And it's a great time of the year, guys. It's the most wonderful time of the year, that some would say. So thank you all so much for watching. Have a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you next time.